Welcome YouTubers, Dean here again with the Engineering HubSpot. Wanted to make a video. I'm actually going to do a little short series on a couple of clips based on the Radan RadQuote software. I've been getting some feedback from some of my customers and wanted to share with you some information, right? So let's stick around. Hey, remember, like and subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, feel free to pop them in the comments below and we'll touch base with them. So let's dig into it. So as you can see, I've got RadQuote here. I've got it open. Couple of questions I've seen lately here is, hey, I've got everything dialed in after my setup, but I'm not always working with 3D files. Some of my customers give me DXF files. Let's face it, some of our customers give us a serviette or a tissue paper with a drawing and a hand sketch or something on it. And say, here we go, this is what I want to make. I want 100 of them, right? So I'm going to show you a couple of different things on here. So the first one is I want to do a DXF, right? So if I grab a DXF, I can just drag and drop it into RadQuote with a folder. I can then come in and select the material. So I'm just going to roll with 6 CRS, and I'm going to do 060. I'm going to put in a quantity of 100 here. Right, so I must have used this DXF before. I'll just do that. Away we go. It's going to process this DXF and pull it in. Right, so that's our first step, getting the DXF in here. So you can see my DXF and there's no bend lines on it. So I want to add a bending operation to it. Okay, because some of us are still in a 2D world and not all the way converted over to 3D, we can add the bending lines, right? But how do we add them? Well, that's kind of easy. So if I look at this, my DXF here, I'm going to say I've got one flange here, one flange over here, another one here, another one here. I'm going to say 4 bends, right? And let's just say the customer's asked to do 90 degrees down. There's our part, away we go. You can see Radan automatically pulls in my material for the operations and my laser for the operation. Now here I can actually just right click and it pulls up all my different operations I have in my shop. It could be all the way from laser, maybe I want to turn a laser off and go into punching. Here you can see I've got bending, I've got welding, and I can select which one. For this operation here, I'm going to select bending, right? So I'll click that. Now it's added a bending operation to the part, but I don't have anything associated with this, right? So if I click on that, it pulls it up. I say, look, this is an easy guy here, right? I'm going to say that's a setting difficulty. I'm going to say it's easy. The bending difficulty, I'm going to say it's easy as well, right? So your more complicated setups, you'll give it a medium or a difficult, depending on how you set it up. I've set up jobs on a press brake where it may take 30 minutes, but I've seen other operations on press brakes that I've seen people take literally up to 2 hours, right, to set up a job. Depends on what it is. So this is where you would tie in the difficulty of that. Even if it's that difficult to set up, it's usually that difficult to bend, right? So no brainer on that one. So here I'm going to say, look, I need 4 bends, right? This one here is tool set quantity, right? Do I have a tool set I'm going to use for the ends? So maybe I want to do 100. So I can do the ends, and then I want to come and do the other side at the same time, do 100, right? Or am I using the one tool setup? So for this one, I'm just going to say I'm going to do the one tool setup, right? How many operators? Well, it's a small part. My operator can do this. Say it's probably 60 inches or less, right? So you can put in a number of how you want that to work out. It automatically will calculate it if you have it set up in your operations. I'm going to hit OK to that, and it's added to bending operations. And now I'm going to quote this guy. Simply hit calculate. It's doing some nesting in the background, pulling some information from the radan software on the post, tech tables, stuff like that. Information I've got saved in radan. You can see here this part, I've got my quote here, 4 hours 54 minutes to get that all completed. If I go to the breakdown here, I double click on that and I've got a breakdown of my bending, right? And that's how you will grab a DXF and quote it. So pretty simple. Then you go to reports and display the quote to send to the customer. So I'm just going to run through another one here, right? So let's go. I'm just going to start a new quote. We're going to select the customer here and hit OK. I'm going to grab a couple of DXFs, right? So radan supports drag and drop. I'm going to grab a couple of these here and I'll just drag them in here and drop them. I'm going to do CRS. I'm going to do 060, right? And I'm going to do 20 each. And you can see for all, I'm going to make them all the same material. And because I've done a couple of those parts before, it's asking me if I wanted to convert it to 060 because I've done something else. Right, because I DXF, I've got no bends on them. So let's say this is a bracket here and I just want to bend that one leg on the side. I'm going to come in here and go add bending. Easy, one bend, done. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4 sides, right? I'm going to come in here, add bending. Let's say we've got 2 bends on one of these lips here, right? So I'm going to actually go with 5 bends. I'll click on there and we'll go bend quantity 5, tool set. I'm going to use one tool set for that. Hit OK. And then we got this other one up the top here. Add a bending operation for that. I can highlight them and change them all, but they're not all going to be the same, right? So click on that, and we're going to do 4 bends on this one. Hit OK. This one here, you can see I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bends on that one, right? So add a bending operation. Click on that. And I'm going to say bit of a difficult setup, but medium bending, right? So now I come in here and we'll put 6 bends. Hit OK. Right. So you can see we've added our bending operations. Now we can come in and hit calculate. It's going to do nesting and the radan software in the background and get the information and data that we need for our quoting. You can see our local progress there, and we've got that quote completed. Alright, so that is how you do quoting with just DXFs and adding bending operation to it. Remember, you can also add other operations. So another operation, you might want to add spot welding, grinding, assembly. Okay, so that's one video where you've got today. The next video will be coming out, and it'll be on creating a manual part from a piece of tissue someone hands you with a hand sketch with a couple of dimensions and say, hey, make this. Alright? Hey, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Remember, if you need any help with radan and that, you can always log into the customer portal and talk to one of the support guys there, and they'll help you with some stuff as well. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.